listening to the Savvy Musician Show with Leah McHenry, and this is your secret weapon for success in the new music industry.
So good to be with you again on the Savvy Musician Show. This is CJ, and I am a branding and mindset coach for the Savvy Musician Academy, and I am joined and so delighted to be looking at the lovely Leah McHenry today, ready to break down some more truth. How you doing, Leah?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. This is a special episode today, something that came impromptu, but I think something that's going to turn out to be very, very valuable. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so as you guys know, the last 5 episodes we did were all about why your music isn't making any money. We delved, is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Delved into great detail on all different aspects of online marketing, email marketing, website, your shop, paid traffic, all of those really important things. And the last episode was all on paid traffic, and we talked a lot about Facebook advertising, the do's and don'ts of that. What are the specific ads that I'm running all year round that allow me to be a multiple 6-figure recording artist as a stay-at-home mom who doesn't tour? And there are 3 specific ones we talked about. So if you haven't listened to those episodes, definitely listen to them now. But out of that, I actually just polled our Facebook group. We have a free mastermind. It's called Savvy Musicians, free mastermind. You can go look it up. And I asked our fans, hey, I'm doing an episode on Facebook ads. What questions do you have for me? And so out of that came a bunch of great comments and questions. So I thought, hey, let's do a bonus episode that kind of dovetails off of those other episodes we did and just answer your Facebook ad questions. So that's what we're going to do today.
How about that? Leah answers your Facebook ad questions. Can't get more specific than that. As always, we'd like to share a little student spotlight, good news happening from students of Leah's program. Today's student spotlight is Mia Raymer, who writes, after months of only using the hashtag ask in this group and researching my potential audience obsessively, I can finally share my first win. I published a new tweaked ad to a new tweaked audience, and I'm down to 22 cents per like. So happy to see my hard work starting to pay off. Well, that's just the beginning for her, isn't it, Leah?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm thrilled for you. Everybody has a starting place when you start getting into advertising. Girl, we're going to dial that in even more. You're going to be blown away by how inexpensive these likes are going to get. And as you build your fans and you build your audience, and then you're able to retarget them and do so many cool ninja things. This is just the beginning. We're so happy to have you. She, by the way, just joined our Superfan System Elite mentorship program. I call it a mentorship program. It's not just coaching. I find we're going beyond that.
Yeah.
And so she's new, and I'm so excited to see her progress. So thanks for writing that, Mia. And I can't wait to see what you do with this.
I love that she used the word tweaked, tweaked ad and a tweaked audience. And that's important, right? The constant testing, the constant refining, we've been talking about the Facebook pixel, getting data on what your behaviors and interests, all the wonderful stuff that Leah's been talking about in all these podcast episodes. Here's a student applying it and getting real results that are making a difference, which does what? Just reinforces her belief in herself and her music and what's possible. And it's just going to send her through the roof, potentially, if she stays with it.
Yeah. I use the word tweaked a lot as well, because it's just like if you're sitting in a mixing room, right? And they're doing analog, and they're literally tweaking those little dials, those hundreds of dials, to get it just right. Mm-hmm. And, one turn of one knob can throw everything off, so that's what we're doing with advertising. That's what we're doing when we are split testing things. And hey, does this headline work better than this one? So we're getting into ads today. I'm going to answer your questions because this is all about tweaking. And so as funny as that word is, it's a great descriptor.
Well, let me give you some of these questions. First one comes from Amy. She asks, Leah, to lead people to buy your physical products with ads. I don't know anything about Instagram ads, so would like to know everything about the topic. How do you find your audience, and how is it different from Facebook ads?
Hey, that's a great question. So we touched on this in the last episode about paid traffic, but I'm not going to tell you everything I know about Instagram ads. This would be very long, but basically the Instagram targeting features are exactly the same as the Facebook targeting features because you're doing them on the Facebook ad manager platform. So you shouldn't be doing Instagram ads on Instagram. You should be doing it on the Facebook platform in the ads manager. And what's most important is that you know and understand your audience and your brand and everything ahead of time. So that's why we put so much emphasis on your culture, understanding your positioning, what makes you unique, what's your niche, all of these things, and then knowing your fans inside and out, knowing what makes them tick, what other accounts do they follow, what are their interests, what are the books they read, what are the video games they play, all of this stuff. You'll hear me talking about this over and over again because that's how we target them. And it's exactly the same for Instagram as Facebook. They have enough data that they can target people who like certain shows, The Office or something. If they're huge fans of The Office and they also like Pink Floyd, you can target them on Instagram. Facebook knows how to do that.
That's really amazing. And Leah's noted this before. She said that, Facebook owns Instagram, so all the data is there. And so you can run everything from the Facebook ad manager and just include Instagram as one of the places where your ad is going to show up. Rebecca asks, are there any books you suggest about the technical side of creating ads? I love .com secrets talking about the strategic side, and I'd love a book about the how-to tech side.
Yeah, Rebecca, there's a reason why you're not seeing very many books on the tech side of Facebook ads, and that's because they're constantly making changes to the platform, like every day, every week. If someone published a book on this, it would be irrelevant 2 weeks from now.
Right.
So it's not going to be useful for you to go and buy books on this. There are so many dramatic changes constantly being made. So I can't recommend a book on it. I will say that we dive in very deep into the technical aspects of this in our Superfan System Elite program. And that's why we have monthly coaching on this as well. Things are always changing. They're constantly changing. We have to be on our toes about this. And we also have an expert coach who knows all about the latest changes. Her name is Jody. She's personally run our Facebook ads at Savvy Musician Academy. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. I know I study Facebook ads every day myself. So I'm constantly learning. I'm always taking either coaching or courses, or I'm always studying this stuff myself as well. So hopefully that will be of use to you. And so there aren't books, but there's training. So, learn from someone you trust.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really important. And I've seen it up close myself as one of the coaches, just how much everybody in the leadership of SMA is investing in keeping up with the ever-changing times in social media and all of the technology. James asks, I'm curious about running long-term ads for sustained growth and general awareness of your music brand versus specific campaigns to promote a new album or single launch. How do you approach each one? What do you think is a reasonable but effective daily budget for running ads for each purpose?
Cool. So in the last episode, I talked about the 3 ads I have running all the time. And that is my long-term strategy. And that is I'm always building my page. So I've got page likes going. I've got video views going because I always want to build a video view audience. And I'm always building my email list. So I've always got an opt-in ad running. In my view, those are some great long-term strategies. I'm not looking to make a quick buck off of those. That's something I'm going for the long game in that. I'm building my social proof. It's the first step in awareness for people to even find out who I even am. Sometimes either seeing my like page ad or seeing a music video or lyric video from me, that's their first impression. That's the first time they've ever even saw that I exist. And so that is a long game strategy. And then getting them to go onto my email list, getting them on my email list, then we can deepen and further the relationship. So that is how I approach that. As for a reasonable budget, typically when you're testing, you want to give enough budget that you can get some data fairly quickly, but you don't need to give it so much that you're blowing all your advertising budget. So when you're testing, usually $5 a day per ad set is really, really reasonable. And if you can't do that, going a little lower, but $5, you're going to get some great data within 24 to 48 hours that you can do something with. Right. And when I say ad set, each ad set, when you run it, let me back up. When you run a campaign on Facebook, there's a campaign level, which is, what is the overall objective? Are you going, say it's a like page ad. Okay. So the objective is probably an engagement objective optimized for likes. I think that's what it is. And then the ad set is where you're creating your audience. So that's going to be a cold audience in this case. So people who have not heard of me before, I might target certain video games, certain books, certain TV shows that I know that my fans binge watch, things like that. And then the ad level is where all the creative stuff happens. That's where I'm writing my ad copy. That's where the headline goes. That's where the image or video goes. So I want to spend maybe around $5 a day per ad set. So I might do one cold audience, or maybe I try 2 or 3 totally different cold audiences. And I'm going to test them for a few days to see what kind of results I get. So that's the kind of stuff that you do in marketing and advertising, is you just test this stuff. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Did I get everything in that question?
Yeah, I think so. He was concerned about the budget. He was concerned about the different kinds of campaigns.
Yeah, general awareness.
Yeah, versus these targeted things. But like you said, I mean, these are when you comes down to the long-term approach, that's what sets up the game for these specific ads. And
exactly.
So you can't really pit them one against the other. They really work in tandem.
I would never recommend that if you're just starting out to just launch some kind of e-commerce campaign for people to buy your album. That's not a good strategy. You need to be building your email list for like a year, or give it a good 6 months. I like to have a nice long runway to aggressively build my email list, build your audience, build your video view audiences, warm people up, give them a chance to get to know you and fall in love with your music and what you're all about. Then show them the specific ad for the crowdfunding campaign or the album that's launching. That's how it needs to be done.
Right. Dylan asks, selling an album through Facebook ads. What are some good ways to see predictable sales if you're not good at copywriting or building an email list?
Well, my friend, you need to start learning copywriting and you need to start building your list. You know what I love about copywriting is that some of the best copywriters in the world did not graduate high school.
Nope.
They didn't. And you don't even have to be good at spelling or grammar to be an amazing copywriter.
Right.
And the game has changed. It was different when you were doing back in the day, like print ads and like mailing things out, like snail mail type stuff. You want to have pretty good grammar and stuff. But even then, I mean, the godfathers of copywriting, some of them were not highly educated, and they did millions and millions and millions of dollars. So that's the good news for all of us, if you flunked, English in high school, whatever. So the pressure's off there, okay? Copywriting is simply having a relevant message to a relevant audience on a relevant platform. That's marketing. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a relevant message, you just need to learn how to get someone's attention, how to incite interest. Then, what is it? AIDA, AIDA. Attention, interest, desire, action. Okay, that's something that we teach in the Elite program. Attention, you just have to know, how do I get their attention? Well, a great headline. Even in the Facebook newsfeed, I'll still use a headline at the top of my text, even though there isn't really a headline there. So I'll do like all caps, or I'll do something with emojis beside to really stand out, grab their attention. And then interest is, I ask a question, or, there's something interesting there that's going to make them keep reading. The whole point of getting them to read the first line is to read the second line. The whole point of them to read the second line is to read the third line, and so forth, So get their interest with something. I can't think of an example off the top of my head for some reason. And then desire is to make them want the thing that you are offering them. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I do want that free song. And
Right.
then action is telling them what to do. So go here, download now, click here. What are some other calls to actions?
Well, shop now, learn
Learn.
more,
Sure, those are buttons. I
sign
like
up.
to, sign up, exactly. And I like to put that kind of text in the copy, in the text itself, in addition to the button that Facebook gives you. So, because some people are not gravitating to the button, they're gravitating to the text, and vice versa. Some people look at the image and they don't even read the text. So you
Right.
want to use all these different assets they're giving you to the full potential. So I'm going to encourage you to start learning the copywriting, start building your email list. We've talked extensively about that on this podcast, and we teach about it extensively in a detailed format, tutorial style and coaching style in our elite program. But I'm going to recommend a book for you guys, and it's my new favorite book, and it's by a guy named Phil Jones. It's so simple, so effective, and I'm going to start using everything he says in there in my copy. It's called Exactly What to Say. And it's a really short, tiny little book. And this will help you not just in your copywriting, but also in life. It's going to help you with your people skills. For example, one of the phrases he uses, and they're just like beginning phrases. Here's one of them. I don't know if this is for you, but. Mm-hmm. And the reason why that's powerful is he said, there's psychology at play here. And this is going a little further into this question that I meant to go. But psychology, if someone pays you a compliment and say, you are so good at podcasting, CJ, but blah, 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 blah.
Right.
The only thing you hear is everything I said after the but.
Exactly.
And so when you tell somebody this might not be for you, but you are letting them off the hook. First of all, you're telling them there's no pressure here, but then the psychology of what happens is their ears perk up to everything you say after the but. Right. So it's very interesting. I'm going to start using that in my ad copy, in Savvy Musician Academy, and in my music. I'm going to use it everywhere. So get that book, guys. It's really great.
I don't know if you like Celtic metal, but this is the best album for you.
Yeah, exactly. Go and buy all the merchandise right now.
Okay. Not sure if I'm pronouncing this name right. Matt Vey writes, I use Bandcamp to sell music. Tell me more about using Facebook to sell more music in conjunction with Bandcamp. It's not doing anything for me now.
Oh,
that's not a surprise, is it?
No. And you know what? I don't like bashing companies or tools or things, especially when they've been useful to people at times and on different things. But I'm telling you, listen, Bandcamp is so great when you're not actively trying to market anything. It's a great platform to host your music. I used it. I've made money on it. And I used it solely for a couple of years as my shop. That was my shop when I first started out. And then I started learning what's really involved in marketing. What is required of me to 10x what I'm doing. Right. And I realized there's some great features on Bandcamp, but again, my biggest issue with them is the inability to put a Facebook pixel on it for real. Yeah. And I seriously reached out to them. I had a conversation, and that last I heard, and I've had our students reach out to them even more recently, have the same conversation with them. And the answer is the same. They have no intention of enabling that feature anytime in the near future. Wow. So that actually, like, I feel like it hurts my musician feelings, because I'm feeling like you guys don't really care about marketing, about musicians marketing. You care about them using your platform, but you don't really care about them being able to maximize that platform or understand what real marketing is. Right. So, and I also don't like that it's cookie cutter and all that stuff, but they have some other cool features for sure. But again, guys, if you're not doing anything for you, that's why, is because it's no different than being on YouTube or Spotify, where it's really a sea of other musicians and bands on the same platform. And it's like, if you build it, they will come, is the theory that a lot of people have. If I'm on this amazing platform, that people will find me, and they won't.
Nope.
It's a complete fluke if they do. So what do I suggest instead? Well, what am I using? I have a real shop to sell my music. I'm using Shopify. Yep. I love Shopify. I don't get paid to say anything about Shopify, but I love it. They're fantastic. It's built for sales. It's built for conversions. It's built for e-commerce. Start treating your music business like an e-commerce business, and you're going to 10x everything that you're currently making right now in a matter of months. If you dive in with 2 feet, I guarantee that. So that's what I have to say about Bandcamp. I like them, but I can't recommend them.
Yep, I have to agree with you. Dan asks, best way to target along a specific corridor by including zip codes along that corridor in the ad targeting?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Dan. Like, how do let's say you have an event or you're doing a gig or something and you want to target a specific area of people. It's very simple in Facebook. They have something called location targeting. It's that easy. So you can target a certain mile radius from that event, for example. So you can say, hey, I want to target San Diego, or I want to target a certain mile radius from this specific event. And everybody, and then you can layer targets on top of that, or interests on top of that. Say everybody in a 50-mile radius that likes heavy metal. Everyone in a 50-mile radius that likes this one band. But the thing is, because it's such a small amount, like a small radius, the risk of adding too many interests on there is that you might get 5 people.
Yeah.
So you want to actually keep it a little more general, a little more broad when you're doing that kind of targeting. But Facebook has some amazing location targeting.
Yeah, and when you put them in, it even shows you on a map the circle of the radius.
Yep.
So you'll be able to see exactly what you're doing. Anissa writes, is it a good idea to create ads to sell the side merchandise, such as jewelry items? And if it is, do those ads have to be created differently from the ones used to sell music?
Yeah, I think I understand your question. So I try to treat, anytime I'm selling music or merchandise, I treat it in a similar way. I'm asking for a sale. And there are ways to set up your ads that work, and there's ways to do things where it's a waste of money, like boosting a post. So generally, I'm always running ads to my merchandise after there's some kind of warming up touch points with people. And yes, it is a good idea to create ads to do this, but you need to know what you're doing. So you want to have it conversion ads. You want it optimized for a sale, for a purchase. You want to make sure you have pixel targeting happening. You want to make sure you have a great offer, that your shop is optimized for a sale, that your checkout is optimized for a sale. It's a lot of tweaking and optimizations that we do in an e-commerce setting on our shops. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just, do I write an ad and I should make a sale? There's a lot on all the different, I call it like a machine. There's all these different cogs in the machine, right, and you need all of them firing and running at the same time to work properly. And if one of those cogs gets jammed in the machine, the whole thing doesn't work. So you got to have everything from a great product, a good offer, a good landing page, whether that's like the product landing page on your shop, good copy, good description of the item. So a lot of people just like put up a t-shirt and don't say anything about it. Tell us about what inspired this design. What's cool about it? Why would I want to wear it? Make me want the thing. And then give me some bullet points in the features telling me about the shirt, like, 100% cotton, all that kind of cool stuff. Tell me about the customer service I'm going to receive at the end of that. And then, there's a bunch of cool optimizations you can do to optimize that for sale. So I just want you thinking bigger than, should I create ads to sell my side merchandise? Yes, you should, but there's so much more you need to do. So I can't get into all of it now, but I'm trying to touch on it, a lot of it in these podcast episodes. And of course, this is what we're doing. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, you guys. I eat, sleep, and breathe it, and I teach it, everything I know, to you guys in the Elite program.
Yeah, and this is, if you're selling this jewelry as a side thing, I assume it has to do with the culture that you're creating as a musician. So long as it's under the general rubric of your culture, what you're doing, whether it's the jewelry or the music, again, it's all part of the same lifestyle and culture. The ads are run the same way. You do just the same amount of targeting, same sort of copy, same sort of powerful images. You split test it, like she said. You treat it exactly the same if it's all coming from that single Facebook business page.
That's right.
Megan asks, you said you get a lot of pages. You said you get a lot of page likes as a side bonus to your lead ads, to the point where you don't need to run a like ad anymore. I'd like to know more about that and how to accomplish it myself, although I need technical details because I'm a techie person. Thanks for asking.
All right, Megan. Well, here's the deal. I still run like ads all the time, but there have been times, this was interesting, when my opt-in ads, I was running an opt-in ad to build my email list, where they were getting so much traction that I was getting basically a 2-for-1. I was getting just as many likes running that opt-in ad as when I was running a like campaign. And the reason is, if you're running an opt-in ad to people who haven't yet liked your page, so in this case, I was probably doing cold and warm audiences, testing different things. If they haven't liked your page and they see your ad, there's going to be a little like button somewhere on that ad, usually the top right corner. And so they're liking it and opting in. So it was, I've had this happen where an ad was just going so well and it was getting so much traction. I was like, gosh, I can turn off my like ad. I'm just getting a pile of likes. It's crazy. Right. But, at some point I always turn the like ad back on, or the campaign ended or something. So I don't recommend only doing that. So always run a like ad if you're able to. And and again, guys, it's not about vanity numbers, but we need social proof, and it's the first step in a fan journey. So always be running it for awareness.
Yeah, I think the simple premise is that you're getting these results because of the same dynamics that would be taking place in a likes page ads. If you're going to run an ad for page likes, well, then you're targeting a specific kind of person, right? Who likes this music and likes that artist and reads this magazine and watches this TV show. Well, that would be the same things you would use to target somebody for a cold audience opt-in ad. So it's natural for someone to say, oh, I'm so interested in taking advantage of this opt-in offer that naturally I'm going to also like the page too, right? So it's, people are going to do that either way, but why not get both? Why not get both?
Exactly.
Josh asks, an overview of the basics of Instagram ads would be great. This topic is great. Glad you are doing the podcast series. So what are the basics for great Instagram ads?
Hey, Josh, I'm glad you asked this. So we talked about this a little bit throughout the last episode and this one here. Instagram is owned by Facebook. However, Instagram is considered a separate platform. But when you're going to create ads in the ad manager, they give you the option to run your ad on Instagram as just yet another placement among many placements. And so that's how you're going to do it. You're not going to run Instagram ads from Instagram. You need to do it on the Facebook platform. That's how it's best operated. You get all the targeting features, you get all the optimization features, creative features. You want to be able to do that. Now, it's best to make your ads look native to Instagram. That means you want it to look like a regular organic post on the platform. So depending on the platform, some platforms do better when you're using a very raw type of an image, not too professional. So like a selfie kind of a thing works really good for certain things. Actually, some of our best performing ads at Savvy Musician Academy, this is funny, are the worst production quality you've ever seen in your life. In fact, maybe that's how you even found out about me. You saw me walking up some stairs with a Tim Hortons coffee in my hand and this really shaky camera with my husband holding it going backwards up the stairs. And it was like the worst production ever. Matt was one of our best performing ad campaigns of all time. So it's very interesting what sometimes works very, very well on certain platforms. Instagram is more photography based type of a platform. People do like to see polished images, but depending on your audience, they may also be attracted to very raw and real type of stuff. So you got to know your audience, what's going to appeal to them. So keep those things in mind. To make it look native to the Instagram platform, meaning it doesn't look like an advertisement, you're going to want to use a square image instead of a rectangle. Keep those things in mind, okay? Another thing is when I run ads on Facebook for the feed, I always put a short link inside my text, like in the ad copy itself, in addition to the headline and the buttons and all those things. I always put a link or two, depending how long the text is. But on Instagram, you can't click on a link in your text in that ad. They can only click the button there that says learn more, shop now, or sign up or whatever. So don't put a link in your text if you're running it to Instagram. That's an instant sign that you're not running it just for that platform. That's just, you just clicked that among all the other placements. So what you need to do is run a separate campaign that's only for Instagram. Uncheck all the other placements. So the only placement you're going to run is the Instagram feed. Okay. And then don't put a link in your text, or it's going to instantly feel non-native. Your cost will be much higher. So you want to put that link will just be in the button itself. So short, and I think short copy is going to work better on Instagram as well.
One more question here. I know you're going to have a lot to say. When is it time, Leah, to pull the plug on an ad, and how do you know?
This is a really popular question. We get people asking this all the time, and I'm sorry to have to give you this answer, but the answer is that it depends. Right. Because I mean, I don't even have a hypothetical situation to go off of here, but what's the objective, and what can you afford to pay for your desired objective is a big question. But one thing I notice is that people do pull the plug way too early. They put something up, and then a few hours later, if they're not getting sales, they just like, oh, this isn't working. They turn it off. Well, the way it works right now at the time of this recording is that Facebook needs a few days to properly optimize. And I've even heard that in some cases it might need even a week or two to properly optimize, especially if it's a large budget. Like usually the bigger the budget and the bigger the audience, the longer it takes for it to optimize. So it makes sense, right? If it's a small, tiny little audience of 100,000 people, they're going to figure out pretty quick what's going to work or not work with these people, but you're also going to run out of people to show it to very quickly. So first of all, you've got to start with your objective. When you're just looking at, hey, is it time to turn this off or not? Look at the objective. If you're doing an opt-in ad and you're trying and you're running a conversions campaign, I like to see opt-ins below 50 cents. I've had one opt-in ad running for like over a year, and they're running around 35 to 40 cents on average. And I don't touch it. Like I've dialed it in so much, I don't even have to touch it. I literally set it and forget it. And I've got a few students who have done that as well, that they've dialed it in so well and they're getting the same price ranges. So if you can't get below 50 cents, usually, this is an example here, the issue is probably with the creative, somewhere in the copy or the image or the headline. It could be the offer, or if people are clicking through and you're seeing the metrics, you actually have a high click-through rate, which is anything over, you want to see something over 1%. If you're getting over a 1% click-through rate and people are actually going through there, then the problem could be with your landing page, right? So you have to basically reverse engineer. You need to walk through every step of the way and go, what's working? Where is the roadblock happening, right? So you need to be a good detective and start analyzing a little bit. And musicians are good at this. Don't think that because you're creative that you can't be good at looking at metrics and data. I am the most artsy-fartsy person, you guys. And I've trained myself to look at this stuff. Am I the best in the world? No. I get help with this. I'm not the only one looking at our analytics, but you can learn to do this, okay? So you need to be a detective and figure out, where is the roadblock happening? Is it the ad itself? Is it the image? Is the image not resonating? So as of right now, we had a relevancy score, or I say before this episode, actually, we had relevancy scores. And if you got a really low relevancy score, like a 2 or 3 out of the gate, that's telling you the creative is not resonating with people. The messaging, or usually the image, is not resonating. So you would change up the creative. Maybe your audience and your targeting would be fine, but the image was not doing it for these people. So you got to try something else and don't take it personal. Now they're replacing that with a few new metrics, and we can do another episode of this in the future on what those changes are. They're still rolling it out as of right now. I haven't even looked in my account today to see if I have it yet, but they're replacing the relevancy score with a little bit more nuanced data, so we can get a little bit more accurate picture of how it's performing. So we'll come back to that. But first, I just want you to understand that when you're going, before you just pull the plug and turn it off, take a look at why is it not performing very well? And, and depending, I can't tell you, oh, when it hits this price point, then turn it off, because I don't know what the objective is. I don't have an ad to work with here as an example. So I have to give you principles that hopefully you can extrapolate and apply. Also, I want you to think about the fact that even if something is a little bit more expensive on the front end, so for example, let's say I'm running an ad to my shop and it's like an e-commerce item. So let's say it's a t-shirt, and I've done the math. I'm going to take a look at, how much does, let's say I'm doing print on demand, for example. And so I'm only going to make $10 profit at the end of the day. And I'm going to look, how much of that am I willing to spend in ads? Maybe I want to acquire someone. I might break even, acquiring the customer, and I'm going to or I even went in the hole $1 or $2 or something. And I'm going to think, oh, should I turn this off? I'm not profitable. You are thinking far too narrow-minded and far too short-term. You can't just be thinking about the front end revenue. All your revenue is in the back end of your funnel. Your follow-up sequences, when someone buys something, or if they added something to their cart and they didn't buy, are you sending them emails? Are you showing them ads in their newsfeed to remind them to come back? Are you putting something else in front of them that they are going to say yes to? That's a huge lesson we've learned in our business, even in Savvy Musician Academies. Never end with a no. Always end with some kind of yes, something they're going to say yes to, whether a free Facebook group, a free song, something. So don't think so short-sighted about, oh, I barely broke even, or I'm in the hole a little bit on the front end. All your missing revenues on the back end that you haven't even thought about yet. So be willing to pay more on the front end, knowing that you just acquired a new fan for life in most cases, and that there's going to be something called lifetime value on the other end of that, meaning how much they're going to spend with you over years and years from now. So you got to think a lot more long-term. That said, if after like 5 to 7 days on an ad, you're not getting any traction on the ad, or the price for whatever you're doing is outrageously high, it's time to really evaluate why. And we talked about these different factors. You got to look at the objective. You got to look at the way you're optimizing the ad. You got to look at your audience, the targeting. Is your budget too small? Is your audience too small? Right now, the algorithms are really optimized for larger audiences. It used to be that we'd do like this micro targeting and going like really small, narrow. Well, now if you do that, you're going to run out of people really quick. And Facebook, the algorithms are so smart that if you have pixel data and Facebook understands who are your customers, you can open that right up and do really big audiences, and they can be very effective in an e-commerce situation. So and then you got to look at your creative. Your image, your copy, your headlines, emojis are part of creative. And then your offers, is appealing enough to the audience, and your landing page, is it mobile responsive? Is it clean? Does it match your brand? I'm throwing so much information out at you guys right now. It's probably like drinking from a fire hose for a lot of you, but I want to get you immersed in the language. And sometimes the best way to do that is to just fill your brain with it and let it simmer.
Right.
So I know there's so much. So there's no easy answer to tell you when the time is to pull the plug. All I can do is give you some principles to think about and go, okay, there's a lot I need to be aware of. There's a lot I need to be trained in to understand when I should pull the plug. And of course, if you gave me specific examples, hey, Leah, I'm running an opt-in ad and it's costing me $2 a lead. When should I turn it off? More specific examples, I can extrapolate a little more for you guys and give you more specifics on these kind of Q&A sessions. But I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you a lot of meat to chew on.
No, that was great, Leah. There's no getting around the fact, and I'll just say this because I can say it as a co-host. You don't have to say it necessarily yourself, but there is so much to learn. But when I see these specific questions, I know what people are thinking. They're not at the place right now where they can dive in and really commit themselves to learning this the right way with a coach, with a mentor, in a program, with that kind of support. And so they want to try to get by as best they can with a podcast or some YouTube video they watch or what have you. I understand. I know the investment can be scary. Believe me, I get it. In comparison to trying to achieve success, not just in music, but in any business in life, marketing is half the battle. You can't do anything in the world, whether it's selling cars to selling music, whatever it is, you have to be able to master marketing. And as Leah said before, the marketing game is online. In that online game, the rules are changing all the time. And because of that, it's like she can't recommend a specific book, as she has said, about Facebook ads because it would be outdated in short order. Therefore, the best thing that you can do is become a part of the program. So if you're at that place, Leah, what would you tell somebody who's at that? They've got good music. They're ready to do something. They're trying to get by with these little questions, but they want to go to the next level.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be very frank with you guys. All the good stuff is not free.
Right.
The best stuff. And I can tell you some of the most scary things that I've ever invested in. And by the way, anytime you invest, it should be scary. It should make you uncomfortable, but it should be enough that you've got some real skin in the game. If you don't have skin in the game, you're not going to be committed. You're not going to show up. You're not going to do the work. And then you won't get the result. You've got to have skin in the game. I've seen this so many times where in the past, we've given like a full scholarship to somebody, or we've just really like reached out to somebody and they didn't even log in.
Wow.
They didn't even log in. They didn't do anything with it. And I thought, wow. And everyone says, oh, I'm not like that. Yeah, you are, because you're a human and humans need skin in the game. What I've done in the past, when we were in real financial hardship, and I knew I need to invest in my skills. Before I ever even thought of Savvy Musician Academy, like it didn't even cross my mind. I was just thinking, how can I get my music business to the next level? What do I need to do? And I stopped studying the music industry. I started studying online marketing, and that's what we're doing here. I've been able to take the principles of online marketing, make it work for musicians. I found it was a very awkward transition, and I had to figure out, how do I translate this for an artist, for myself? So I created that which I couldn't find out there. But what I did to make it work, guys, I bootstrapped it. I sold stuff on eBay. Most of you guys have piles and piles of crap sitting in your garage that you never use, some treadmill sitting there, all this stuff, and I sold like this red dress that I wore on one of my album covers. I sold it on eBay, and it was like, it kind of went nuts. It was really funny. Some dude bought it and made a shrine out of it and sent me a picture. It was weird.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was funny. But, I got creative, and I found a way to get the cash, to get the training I needed to invest in myself, because I knew that's going to be the best investment I ever make. Right. And to this day, I think, yeah, if I hadn't done that, I would not be sitting here right now talking to you guys. I wouldn't be sitting here teaching you. I don't know what I would be doing. I have no idea. So sometimes, bootstrapping is a good thing. It's actually really healthy. If you guys just had piles of cash sitting around, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast right now. Right. The reason you're here is because there's information you don't know, and I can teach you. Right. I can help you go to the next level. That we have answers and solutions, and you're listening to this. You're either already a student and you need to go to the next level, or you're not a student and you're just like, who is this and what are they all about? And right. and you got sucked in because it's good content. So, I'm going to encourage you guys. Bootstrapping is super, super helpful. There's lots of great books out there, The Lean Startup and lots of other ones like that, where it's all about, you find the resources, sell your stuff, do what you got to do to make some extra cash, and invest in yourself. It's actually better that way. Yeah. So when you have skin in the game, then it hurts for you to not succeed, and you've got to, it becomes like I'm going to make this work kind of situation. Right. Now, I don't want anybody going into debt. I don't want anybody doing anything that they that is unhealthy for them in a financial way. I'm not about that. But I do believe in bootstrapping. I do believe in making the leap sometimes. And so yeah, there's only so much you can get by with these podcasts, you guys. This is scratching the surface. What I'm sharing with you are principles and their high level view of things, but you're not going to learn exactly the how-to stuff unless you're in it and you're seeing it and you're applying it. And we are giving you real-time feedback. So that's one of the amazing things that we've really gone to the next level with in our elite program is we do some one-on-one stuff and like in our coaching calls, in our hot seats, and in our level of service. Like you can call us on the phone. We talk to you on the phone. We're checking your work to see, hey, let's see how your website is doing. Let's see your landing page. Let us help you through and get you unstuck on these areas where you would be floundering on your own. So that's what we're all about, you guys. So you really aren't going to, these podcasts, I want them to be so informative, but I also want you to know that that's not going to get you the result at the end of the day. You need the coaching, you need the accountability, you need the support, and you need the latest up-to-date information. So if I haven't preached enough.
Leah, I've done probably 20 individual one-on-one coaching calls with students in the SMA program and elite program. And I start each call asking them, number one, when did you first hear about Leah? And number two, when did you sign up for the elite program? And then number three, why did you do it? And the exclusive answer, no matter where somebody had started, right? So just like the listener right now, they're kind of, in your orbit, so to speak. They haven't gone all the way in. They're just sort of in the orbit, picking up what they can. But all of these students, they took some of your courses, but they got to that place where they realized they needed something else. There was only so much they could, even armed with the knowledge, there was only so far they could go. They knew they needed something else. And so they all said the reason why they got into the elite program was because of the support.
Yeah.
And still to this day, they told me, they said, that's the number one reason. That's what eliminated any sense of regret after being inside of the group, is because of that support. And of course, then I'm on a call with them coaching. What are they getting? More support. Yeah. So even though I've had a coaching call today just before we started this podcast, and the woman was saying, you just kind of feel like you just want to keep that coach right there for a day or so, because you just, it's not that you don't know everything, you didn't learn a lot it's just that you want to make sure you're doing things right. So that support element is working in tandem with the in-depth teaching that Leah offers in the module, just sets this in a category and that's why I'm even a part of this, Leah, is just because of that commitment to both the principle and the coaching. That's the two-edged sword.
Well, that's amazing. And we're so, so grateful that you are doing what you're doing with us and for the students. They all sing your praises. It's crazy. So now you're never allowed to leave ever.
I ain't going nowhere, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I stay where I'm celebrated, not tolerated.
There you go. Hey, take that with you guys. So listen, if you're ready to go much, much deeper on all this stuff and become an expert at marketing your own music, I want you to go to callsma.com and book a call with us, and someone from my team will be glad to spend some time with you. And we're going to discuss if and how we can help you go to the next level in your music business. Callsma.com.
Yeah, guys, let's leave us a review for the podcast. Give us some stars and write something super nice so that when others come, they can see the value that you're getting from this podcast. Help us also to rise up in the search rankings. We want to fix the problem that all musicians are facing today, which is how can I make money with my music in this new world where labels aren't available to help you, or it's so difficult for anybody to make any kind of money? Leah has demonstrated that this can be done, and you can reach levels of success you never imagined possible. But help somebody else discover this today. So leave a review for the Savvy Musician Show. Leah, thank you once again.
Thank you, CJ. We'll see you guys next time.
This episode was sponsored by the Superfan System Elite program here at Savvy Musician Academy. If you are looking to scale your existing music business and you're looking to get into advanced digital marketing, such as email marketing, funnels, e-commerce, Facebook ads, and more, and you're looking to build a real profitable online music business, book a call with our team at www.callsma.com. We would love to speak with you for about 30 minutes and see how we can help you. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for more episodes, and we'll see you next time.